Hi guys, and welcome to my first live stream. Today we are gonna work on an PBR material. Today we are gonna work on a PBR material, half timbered house. This is actually something I did with procedural materials before. It was actually one of my first materials, and I want to see how I can improve it. Initially I wanted to record a normal YouTube video out of this, but I saw that this is gonna take too long as the graph is already quite big and this is just a blockout. So here are my reference images, and yeah, the wood will basically be something like this. Actually, the wood is the part that is the most advanced, the rest is a blockout. And we're also gonna do this inside stuff here. So I already have not yet, but soon a parameter so that we can take away the plaster and have the inside of it. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do and how long the stream will be, because yeah, it's the first one, and yeah, let's see what we can do. I think I'll mainly work on the wood today, and we'll do multiple live streams for that. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can just ask and I try to answer everything. So as mentioned, the wood is the most advanced of all of it, so let's finish it. I think what we need are some wood knots, and we will be working on them first. This is the part of what the wood is made. We are gonna work with subgraphs, but currently I want to keep it all in one, so it's easier to have a preview. So maybe I can just go through what I did here. I'm starting with a gradient linear, or actually this one, for the wood grain. We're gonna directional warp it with the gradient linear processed with the curves node here. So not all of them are the same size, and we have some variation in it. Then we are warping them a bit. We are warping it here a bit more to have the grain a bit nicer, wood-like. We are feeding it into gradient map to Sorry, I'm having some issues here, but never mind, let's continue. So we are warping it again with a clouds noise. It's a clouds heavy noise actually, with a scale of x64 by 8 on y. So this already looks like nice wood grain, I think, but we are gonna add this into the mix, just slightly, so we have just some of those eyes. The blur node is deactivated because I don't think we're gonna need it. Then we are warping the whole thing again with the clouds heavy noise again to get a bit more distortion. We are warping it again for a bit more of distortion with the directional noise too. We are slope blurring it with a turbulent Perlin noise. Then we are transforming it as, yeah, we needed to rotate it. I might actually have to look a bit because it's been a while since I made this. I think this was for the finer details. Ah, that's nice actually. I don't know how I came up with this, but I thought it looked quite nice for wood. So we can go through this if you want to see how that's made. We are basically using a directional noise 4. We are slope blurring it with itself. Then we are blending it with the default blend on top. Then we're gonna directional warp the initial noise with our slope blur and blend it again with the other output. Then we are inverting it, blending it again. Then we use auto levels, but I think that's not really needed, so let's delete it. We are slope blurring this one again. So as you can see, we are already having these shapes here. We're inverting it, a high pass to get the details out. Then we use the histogram edit on this, invert again, a bevel, invert again, maybe too much inverts. I mean, I have to optimize this at some point, but like I mentioned, this is currently just a blockout. Then slope blur with a fractal sum noise. Then we are blending it with, actually the invert is blended with the slope blurred version, and the histogram edit from the clouds noise is used as a mask. We are inverting it again and transformation to have finer details. Then we are blending it on top on our wood grain. And we're using the turbulent Perlin noise that we are going to process with the histogram edit as a mask. Blending this again. And then we're going to do a min blend here with the foreground color, with a quite dark gray one, to get a bit of those flat spots that you can see here. Then we are blending it with another effect. It's actually where is it? It's not this. Let me check. Ah, it's this here. So this is a guided scatter node, where we are just inputting the gradient linear, so we try to reuse nodes as much as possible for better performance. Then this is our scale input, and that's our mask. This is the output. A bit of slope blur to not have all such straight outputs. Then a directional warp, so it looks a bit more like wood grain. And we are blending it here. Then the levels, we need to have it quite wide, as those wood bars will be the most top level. But as we have the displacement factor set to 3, it's quite nicely displaced. Yeah, then we are just blending it with the mask for our wood planks. That's actually not how it should be, as this wood plank should go through this and not the other way around like it's currently. As you can see, the wood grain here is also not facing in the right direction. So we will fix this later as well. So yeah, let's make some wood knots. And I think we can start with a Voronoi pattern maybe. So we have our Voronoi pattern here, we straighten it a bit. Let's use an edge detection node on this one, and let's input it into a polar mapper. And we need a higher scale. That looks quite interesting already. Let's use a transform node. As this doesn't have to tile, using a transform node like this here is not a problem. Let's slope blur it and let's reuse one of our noises. I think the fractal sum would be quite nice. Just have to find it. It's here actually. Let's set it to minimum and let's blur it slightly. Let's decrease the count on the Voronoi pattern again. Let's make another one of those. With a higher count. Let's slope blur it as well. Then we can blend it together with a max blend. Let's adjust the count. Let's add some cracks. We'll need a low count on this. Let's blend those together with an add blend, and then let's cut it out. think for a bit of variation we're gonna need another one of those. We can keep that shape, but the crack in the middle should be a bit different. The transform is probably not needed as this is procedural, so when changing the seat it will look differently. Actually I wanted it to have it on the cracks. Maybe we can iterate it once. I think we don't need this. So for a secondary knot, we are just gonna reuse what we have here. Just need to set the transform node a bit differently. Let's blend it with a circle as well. Again, we're gonna put this into subgraphs soon, but at first I want to work like this. The graph is currently really messy. For the next stream I'm gonna clean it up a bit. Let's use a tile scatter for this. Let's set it nicely. The blend mode to maximum. For the luminance variance we're gonna check a bit later. Pattern count to 2. Let's see what we are doing here. Actually they might be too similar, but let's check first how they look when they are smaller and in the wood grain. Let's set this to 12 maybe. Orientation variance to 1. Position. Let's keep it as is for now. Size variance. Maybe like this. Let's take boss to 0.545. It's actually too much. Let's decrease the count. Let's use the mask density so we don't have as much of them. Let's use a grayscale to mask or a blur node at first, so that we will need to warp the wood grain a bit. We will need that blur node for that. And a histogram edit. Blur is too strong probably. So now we're gonna work the wood grain here to make a bit space for our knots. I think they are a bit too small. Let's blur this here again. Should be just slightly. Let's use the mask blur to blur it a bit for our knots. Let's make some space with Ctrl and the arrow keys. Mask blur might be enough. We maybe don't need this blend at all. So let's just try to blend our wood knots over. Let's use a screen mode. Actually, subtract. They're quite big, way too big. Let's go back to the tile scatter and decrease the scale. The cracks might be too wide and too strong. Let's use a levels node. Actually, we should warp them a bit as they are all quite round and a bit too perfect. Let's also see if we need anti-aliasing. Yeah, let's keep it at 8 for now. Let's auto level them, or maybe not. Let's use a directional warp. Let's see what we have here. A purlin might be the best option here. Let's see if we already have one in the graph. Here's one. Let's use a safe transform on that to get a bit smaller shapes. It's always a bit of a pain to integrate wood knots for me, but they start to look kinda quite good. Maybe we can make some outlines for the knots. That could look quite good. It's a bit too perfect. There are some that are still way too big. I think we need to adjust the scale size variance. Basically, I just wanted really small wood knots on this. Like those, maybe. To better visualize this, I'm gonna increase the mask density again. This one is starting to look good. thing is, as soon as we start to do some changes on the tile scatter, like the scale for example, we mostly will need to adjust the other nodes as well. Some of those are actually starting to look good. Others not so much, like this one. Maybe we should leave the variance at a really small amount. Let's set it to 0, 1. Also decrease the scale a bit. And the whole graph is really messy currently. Let's see how it looks at 4K. Let's clean this up a bit first. Hi Adam. Yeah, you're welcome. How is it going? Yeah, I'm alright as well. I mean, a bit tired, but yeah. But nice that you are here, thanks. But with the time, it's the same for me actually. Yeah, sure, but then my channel is really small and first live stream. I mean, I probably will leave it up so people can watch later. But it's a bit weird for me, to be honest, to do this live. Yeah, true, but then I used to do some time lapses as well, but I always set it up like so when you decrease the speed on YouTube to 1.25, I think, then it was in real time. But yeah, true, I saw people doing time lapses that are like, I don't know, really fast, and you can't see anything from it yet learn. But then for YouTube, it's always like you need to have it perfect. So as you can see in the stream, I mean, you have to go back and forth quite a lot to have something nice looking. But in the stream, you usually, in a YouTube video, you usually have something prepared. And yeah, you just record it perfectly and it looks perfect and easy and yeah. But yeah, I mean, all I did was working on those wood knots and that's it for like half an hour. So this video was also meant for a YouTube tutorial, but yeah, I mean, when you look at the graph, it's quite big already. And yeah, I thought it might be better to just stream it. Yeah, thanks. Actually, this one, the last one, was also quite unprepared, but it was not so big and the shapes were quite simple. So this is something that you can do on the fly basically, but when you go in and create something more sophisticated, like, I mean, this wood here, that really takes a while. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I mean, but then cutting really takes a lot of time. Yeah, sure, this is what I began with. I mean, the rest of the material was already blocked out, like the wood grain. And the wood nodes are... We basically started with the Voronoi pattern here. I started here with some bigger shapes. Then I used an edge detect on this. I first used the polar mapper to get it round. I then inserted the transform, because without the transform there's nothing, because we don't render the input but the background. Without the transform it looks a bit weird. And as we do not need them or the texture here to tile, it's okay to use the transform like it is. I then slope blurred it with this fractal sum. And you can always see the settings. I blurred it a bit and the intensity is at 15. Mode set to minimum. And I did it twice for some of those smaller shapes. Then I blended it together. I used the Cracks organic node with a really small count and basically blended it over. So I did it twice, I used the transform to get a bit variance, so it doesn't look the same. Then I blended this circle in, and that's basically it. I input it into the tile scatter. Then I used the directional warp, so not every of them is so round. And yeah, here it gets a bit complicated because we needed some blurred shapes to warp the grain. Because when I don't warp it with it, it's just straight. But we need to nicely input it into the whole material. So in real wood you will always see that the wood grains are, or the wood grain is warped around the knots. I used the histogram, a mask, basically from this histogram edit node here, and used the mask blur to make a bit of place and that we don't see the wood grain through the knots. Then I inputted the knots, I blended it with a subtract, can maybe even increase the opacity. Hi Christina. Yeah, and then I used the histogram from here to make those holes around them. Never mind, not much happened. Yes, I mean, I had a bit of a rough start. This is the first stream, but I think I'm gonna upload it. So Adam, if you want to know how the wood grain was made, I basically showed it in the beginning. Don't know if it's worth it to go through it again now. Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, the wood knots are not perfect yet, but they're kinda okay. I mean, it basically would need a bit of polishing, I think, but let's stay with it like it is. Yeah, indeed. Let's select all of those nodes until here. To right click and let's extract graph network. Let's call this wood grain. And we have it in the subgraph here. So everything is already set up. We also have a name. Let's set it to private. And let's get back here. And we can just reuse it. We just need to input our noises. That's the complicated part, actually. Let's see, the Perlin noise should be this one. The fractal sum will be this one. The blend will be probably this one. And now the blur. Yeah, again, the graph is quite messy. I have to clean it up for the next one. Here's an input, it's not that. It's also not this. You can always go back to the subgraph and let's search for the blur so we can locate it kinda, as those nodes are spawned where the input is in the graph. That's the fractal sum and the blurred is on top of it somewhere. So let's follow the connection. Let's see. Ah, that's it. Yeah, I just lost it. Fractal sum. That's the blur. That should be our wood. Let's see. I think that's fine. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know about portals. I never used them. I mean, my last Substance version is from, I think, 2022. So I really can't say anything about that. I mean, I have the feeling they could be nice, but then again, they are lonely nodes, so you don't know what's what, probably. Gaia is nice. I would love to use it more. I mean, I have the free version of it, but never had really time to build something with it. So as we have our subgraph now, we can just delete the whole wood graph here. Hopefully. Let's see how it looks as normal. I always like to preview things as normal maps so you can see what they are actually doing. I mean, I don't know, you guys weren't here. I had some references shown at the beginning. I closed the images, don't know where they are now. But I think the wood is quite close. The knots are still not perfect. I'm gonna polish them a bit later on. So now again, on the outer planks, the wood grain is facing into the wrong direction. Let's fix this. Just have to see where I have those. They are here. not sure how I use the masks here. This is for the horizontal grain. This was this plank. We need to fix the plank later on, as this one should go through the horizontal one and not like it is now. Let's blend this on top. Use that as an opacity mask. Yeah, perfect. Not quite. Let's transform this, or actually this one. Thanks, yeah, indeed, I have some reference pictures taken from some houses that are nearby, and I really went for the most rough one I could find. I really like the look. I mean, it's always nice to build something old than something new. Thanks, Jeremy, and hi, welcome. I think we only need to fix this mask now. Let's use this. Adam, actually it's quite simple when you have connections from the same node. You can just double click and make a reroute point, and then you can just go over with the point on the other connection and it will be created automatically. That's quite handy actually. really need to optimize this a bit and clean it up later on. Because probably everything is double now. How is it going, Jeremy? Yeah, really, I mean, it's hot over here as well. But I think the heat waves in the US are quite extreme often, is it? That sounds good. I mean, I prefer mountains and snow. Yeah, I did, but when I press render at 60K now, I think it's gonna take a while, but I can try. Just for you. Let's try 8K at first. I mean, it should work for now, but as soon as we get some color images, it probably won't anymore. Yeah, I mean, I was doing it without streaming, so yeah, maybe let's stay at 8K. I mean 8K is already quite nice. Oh, really? That would be great. I only read that we will have some thunderstorms like tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or something. Yeah, thanks. I mean, 8K should be enough. But it's nothing for working resolution, unfortunately. Not yet. But I mean, it's awesome that it's possible. I mean, 8K is nice, but you can go up to 16K. That's crazy somehow. Guys, I would like to ask, what is your preferred time for a stream? Yeah, I mean, 8K is quite high res as well. Usually all my renders are done in 4K max. No, actually I'm from Germany too, so that's fine for me. Because basically I didn't plan to stream for too long today. I had a long day already. This was just a test. That's true, I'm not really used to speak English so much. Nah, I mean, I sometimes really speak slowly. But it's easier to understand then. Or for tutorial, I think it's quite okay. I mean, nowadays when you look some tutorials or other stuff from YouTube, it's just fast cuts, fast speaking. And I mean, to learn something, it's not that great, I think. But then people like it when it's fast, so yeah. Yeah, thanks. Nice to hear that. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you look at those YouTube shorts, for example. I don't know what to look at because it's so fast. Yeah, I mean, if I would be used to speaking English, I'd probably speak faster as well. I mean, if this would be a German video, it would be better for me probably, but the audience is not as big. I don't know what that was. Let's delete it. Yeah, I tried to make a short lately as well. It's quite fun to do them, I think. Maybe I'll make some more, but yeah. I think it's good to have a bit of everything. Yeah, thanks. Hey guys, I don't know, what do you think? Maybe I'll make a stream tomorrow in the evening, because I should go to bed. Sundays are not so great. I mean, I think Saturday is the best day for me to do something like that. Yeah, that's the right answer, definitely. I mean, just do your thing. If people don't like it, they don't need to watch it. Yeah, it would be great to see you again, Jeremy. Yeah, so I'd say let's do that tomorrow. I clean up the graph a bit because it's really messy. I can't really work like that. And it would be great to see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, whenever you can, Adam. Always happy to see you. I mean, it probably stays on YouTube, so not that bad. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night and see you soon.